welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm working on a layout with the 4kidsat147 February kit. I'm still trying to use up those scraps. So this time I am using circle punches and just using all the scraps to punch out as many circles as I can. I have no particular plan for this layout yet, apart from to use circles. So I don't bore you while I punch out all the circles, but there's quite a few on the layout now, and I'm just having a look through pictures that I have pre-printed to see which one will work. And I've decided to go for this one of my youngest with a friend, and this was at my nephew's christening a few years ago now. So I'm very limited on papers and therefore very limited on what I can use for matting. I pretty much have the scraps I've been using and those few to my right hand side. So I've laid it up with the coral colour paper, and I'm just having a look at what sort of title it is I may want to use, going through the thickers from Dear Lizzie and seeing if any words work. They're not quite working for me, so while I mull over the title a little bit, I'm looking at what I can use to ink around the edges of all these different pattern papers to help bring them together a little bit. So I've got two colours out that I think may work, and I'm just going to test one on this heart that I can repunch if I need to on the coral colour, and decided to go for Tattered Rose, which is the little bit lighter distress ink in the pink, to bring all those papers together. And while it is mainly a layout of my daughter, pink's all good. So I'm just going around the edge of the photo mat and sticking the photo down, and then again I won't bore you with how I ink all the circles. So all of a sudden, as if by magic, you will see all the circles are stuck down. So they've all been inked and stuck down. Some of them will have moved because I didn't take a photo beforehand. And I'm now working on the title. So I knew I wanted to use that pink ampersand. I've been trying to use that ever since I got the die cut pack. It's just not quite worked on other layouts. So I created the title Love and Friendship. It's not a love romance between these two. However, you know, there is the love tied in with friendship. So the title worked either way. So I'm just popping the ampersand up on foam adhesive from Stampin' Up, and then comes to my favourite part of scrapbooking, but also what can be the longest part of scrapbooking, which is going through all the embellishments. So I'm pulling out quite a few different acetate pieces. I find it very hard to use the acetate pieces even though I like them, so I am trying to incorporate them again into this layout, though none of them do make it. There was another piece from the cut apart sheet, and the Live Fresh inside the circle inside the pink worked really well with the 1-inch circle punch. So I've just punched that out, and that will make it to the layout now, though not where it is now. I also like the Ooh La La acetate piece, but I never quite liked the circle at the end. I never saw it hanging from a tag, so I've chopped that off. And even though that doesn't make it to the layout, it probably means it will make it to another layout at some point. So at this point there is a lot of messing from me, which if you've watched my videos before, that is what a lot of my process is messing about. Trying to see how things work, whether I like them, whether I don't, moving titles about, etc. But I decided I am happy with the title the way I had it. So I've decided to stick that down because that's going to stay. And then I've inked up the little circle saying Live Fresh, and I've popped some foam adhesive on the back of there just so it's another little pop-up element. I've also brought a couple of pieces of chipboard in. I do like the flower piece of chipboard just stuck under the picture a little bit. Between the ampersand and the love, I did feel as though there was a bit of a gap. It wasn't quite sitting right with me. It needed a different shape there, and the chipboard flower did that in my opinion anyway. It filled that little gap that was staring at me. So I'm bringing in more chipboard pieces, some of which will stay where they are, some of which will move about, and some of which will disappear. So the heart at the bottom right of friendship will stay. That brought the different colours of pink in again. So I've got hot pink in the ampersand, and in the heart to the right I've got a touch of it on that strip in the bottom corner and a touch of it in the strip at the top. And both of those strips of paper at the top and the bottom are just the branding strips from some of the pink paisley papers. So I'm going to move some chipboard things around yet again. I seem to do a lot of waffling about how I move things about, but this is part of my process, and you can see you may find that you prefer it somewhere else. Sometimes when I look back on the video I think, oh, that actually looked nice there, but I've got to go with what my heart says at the time. I did want to use that banner saying hello. I've loved that ever since I opened the die cut pack. That's another piece very similar to the ampersand that I've always liked. I just couldn't get it to work on this layout. There were so many circles and they did need a little bit of decoration, but the circles did do a lot of the work, and therefore there wasn't much embellishment needed after that on this page. So I brought out the gorgeous vellum word stickers again, and I'm going to dot those about where I think they'll work. Then I do find that it's looking too cluttered, and I do need to try and bring in the embellishments a little bit and not try to spread them out over the whole page, but more group them. So I end up with 2 word stickers there in the bottom right, just under the title, and that says Love Grows Wild and Today and Always. And then the only other word sticker I will end up using is the one saying Loving You, and that will eventually settle just above the title, the word love in the title. There we go, they all come off and go back on. That's why I love these stickers. All stickers should be the same. Take them off, put them back down again. They'd work for me. Up at the top right hand side, top of the picture, I do currently have one of the Heidi Swap puffy stickers, a circle one, though I will take that off. I think it's partly because I didn't have any other puffy stickers on there, and I do like to have things repeated. So speaking of repeated, out come the cork hearts again, which do need to be on wax paper because these babies stick, and I have found that out on other layouts. So I do apologise if my lighting goes in and out a bit. I was scrapping on a sunny day and I did have my lights on, but if anybody in the UK should know what our weather's like, the sun comes out and then the sun goes away again, and it comes out and it goes away again. So that's what's affecting the lighting on this video a little bit. So the chipboard pieces I'm happy with, so I'm sticking that down with my fine line bottle from Stampin' Up, which so far is doing the job. And I've stuck down the Live Fresh up near the heart in the top left. So now I'm back on what will work in that top corner. I've taken the puffy sticker off, but I do want a little more of that peach colour up there. So I've just punched out another circle. This one I think is the 1 3/4 inch circle. So I've used a 1 inch, a 1 3/4, and I think possibly a 1 1/4 or 1 3/8 was the other punch. So I was trying to see if I could see which ones they were. And to fill the other gap at the top, I've just brought in a couple more circles again, just to fill up those little white gaps without having to do embellishments. So just inking those up and popping them on. And that should pretty much, the top clusters will just stay as circles. And most of my embellishment will be around the picture. So I think I'm nearly done. And I'm liking how it looks now. But then I decided to just have another quick flick through the die cut pieces. I'm getting near to the end of the paper on this kit, so I'm seeing how much more I can use up. and that's when I decided to bring in the cork hearts again. I do love the cork hearts. So I'm bringing in a couple of those around the picture, trying them in a few different spots before I settle, and a few different sizes. So I will end up with, I will change it to a bigger one just to the right of the photo, and then I will tuck one just underneath the photo. It nestled right into the flower chipboard quite well, the base of the heart. So I did like the way that that looked. And I will then pop a second one up there as well. I was contemplating taking one up to the top left where the Live Fresh was, but decided that didn't really need to be an embellishment cluster as such. So I'll move some circles about, see if that's what's not quite right, and then end up putting everything back. So there we go, there's that final heart that's settling over there. I did have them tilted slightly first, just a little slight angle, but then realised that a lot of the other elements on the page, like the arrow and the title, were all straight, and with the circles being curved, they looked as straight as well. So I did straighten them all up, and then I will pop the date afterwards, just at the bottom corner, just to the left of that heart, and that's done. Here's the close-ups. Thanks for watching.